Hi, I'm Lisa Hayden with Channel 6 Central Kentucky TV, community focus on Washington County. And today we have with us Jonathan Votaw, who is with Votaw's Auto
Votaw's Auto Repair and Towing.
Auto Repair and Towing. And Jonathan, do you go by Jonathan or John?
Either way. Most of my friends just call me John, so you can call me John.
But Jonathan is your...
That's my full name. It's the
I've
long
always,
version.
I've always called you Jonathan, so I noticed you were calling yourself John, and I thought, well, anyway, I kind of like Jonathan. So, but thank you for being here today.
It's my pleasure.
And I know you've been out on a run, you said. So, but, you know, this is the time of year, Jonathan, I was thinking of you. Needless to say, because I had to have a new battery, and I had to call you, and you know, my battery went dead in this cold weather.
Oh, yes.
So I know that you said to me that there have been a lot of people who've had to have batteries. And of course, so we've got the cold weather going on. And I thought, well, maybe you could come on here and talk to us about the things, and I'm the worst because I don't take very good care of a car.
But some things people just don't think about.
Yes. So what should people do, Jonathan, in the winter to take care of their car?
Simple things. I mean, you know, first thing, keep an eye on all of your tire pressures. Keep an eye on all of them, because even this, we're, of course, you know, wonderful Kentucky weather. It's hot one day, like today. I shouldn't even have this toboggan on, so it's so warm. And then a few days later, it's cold. It's like it zaps tires. And all the time, people, you know, they got a flat tire in the morning, they're calling. Keep an eye on the air in your tires. When you go home, especially like this weekend, we're going to have some really cold weather, possibly some bad weather. I try to tell people to try to keep at least a half a tank in their car. It's easier for the fuel pumps.
Half a tank of gas to...
It helps the cars out. I mean, it's easier on the fuel pumps, but the main reason for that being, okay, like this weekend, we're going to have some bad weather. We don't know if it's going to ice or what. What if you run off the road and you're stuck, and it's an hour? You know, your car still runs, but you're just stuck. Well, you've got heat that way. You know, sit out there and, you know, almost freeze to death.
Yeah.
But things like that, keep an eye on your batteries, have them checked. You know, if they even remotely check bad, where this, like I said, these cold spikes we get them replaced. Or if they're over 4 years old, get them replaced, because the batteries aren't as good as they used to be. Like, you know, like some of the ones I used to have, and I only get about four years out of them. So in 4 years, I replace all my batteries. Like I said, keep an eye on your antifreeze, oils.
You can get, okay, so I guess you should just go somewhere like your place and have the battery checked and have your tires checked.
Have everything checked.
And what else did you say?
You know, just keep an eye on all your fluids and everything. Make sure your antifreeze tests good. So it's, you know, 30 below is always a great place to have antifreeze, you know, testing when you see them come out with little floaters. I always want them about 30 below. That way you know your antifreeze is good. You don't have to worry about it freezing up, because actually this cold weeks, what was it, about 2 weeks of this cold stretch, I have actually seen several engines freeze up and bust. Several.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and I'm talking, and this is what was bad. One lady had a 2015 model. You know, it's never had nothing done to it. Didn't really have that many miles on it. It froze up and busted.
Because she hadn't checked the antifreeze?
She hadn't had it checked, but in her mind, and even in my mind, if I had bought that new car, if I was in her position, I wouldn't have been thinking about it.
Right.
But things, like I say, are not as good as they used to be, so you got to keep a check on them.
Well, I think you even mentioned that with my battery. I said, well, Jonathan, how can I have a bad battery? You know, and it stopped 2 or 3 times, and because it was 2015, and I thought, how can I have a... And, you know, you indicated that maybe they weren't making batteries as well as they used to. In cars.
They don't. I mean, and it's aggravating in some ways and sad in others. I used to buy batteries and keep them for years. I mean, I kept one for 11 years. I put it on everything I owned. And when I sold the car, it was still going. And, you know, that was then. Yeah. Now, if a battery's getting about 4 years old and you know you're going to have a bad cold stretch, it's about time.
So even, okay, so say you're, you know, because on these newer cars, you don't even have to change the oil very often.
They tell you, like some of them tell you 10,000 miles and things, and I will say that I'm not an oil changer. You don't make a lot of money changing oils in vehicles, but they tell you 10,000 on these synthetics and stuff. And I've tested them and pH'd them. We've even sent some off. And if you're running full synthetics, even on these new cars, about 5,000, 6,000 is the most I would ever say. And just regular standard oils, like we consider them SE oils, just your regular old oils, 3,000, 3,500, and try to keep them changed. You just the longevity of your car. A little more maintenance, a little more often will make them last forever.
So, okay, so when you get an oil change, they check all the fluids, correct?
Most places do, yes.
So they would check at that time
They'll check your antifreeze, your brake fluid. If your car has power steering fluid, if it doesn't have electric steering, they'll check it. But sometimes you have to make the request, can you test my antifreeze to see, what it's good to, if it's good to 0 to 30 below, or if it needs to be some drained out and freshened up, or the system flushed if it's dirty.
Oh, okay. So in between the oil changes, since they go for so long, then actually your antifreeze could get bad.
It takes some time, like the one specific lady that had the tragedy happen on her 15 model. Because it had no repairs, it had no issues, and it got weakened up, and that was actually even odd to me. Like that's one in a million there. But when cold weather starts getting closer, or even if it the next week or the next day, was it going to be Saturday? It's going to be
right.
The low is going to be 9 degrees, I think. If you haven't checked it, it would be a good time. Because most places will check it for you real quick and they don't charge anything. Like me, I check it, I don't charge anything just to see if it's, if it tests good. If it doesn't, then we make plans, or some people even do it themselves because they're pretty handy.
Well, I wouldn't be doing it myself, but because we don't have a full service gas station anymore.
No.
Since Sim Shell left.
I know, old Mike down there.
I know, and and you at your business, I think you mostly do repairs and things.
I do a lot of major repairs, stuff like that. Engine changes, record service, recovery.
Your record service is still in business.
Oh yeah.
And so you're having to.
I run and do that. I'm kind of a one-man show.
Is your dad still helping?
No, I've got one boy that helps me some, so I get to go do the other stuff and come in and out, and I oversee everything. Like I said, just small, tiny little, I guess, family business.
But, so your dad doesn't help, he doesn't work, he's not working anymore?
Nope, sure doesn't.
Well, he probably gets bored not being down there. That's where all the action is.
He helps me out some that he can, but like I say, he's earned it. He's earned it.
Oh, of course he has. But you're in the heart of downtown, and people are in and out all the time.
Oh yeah.
So you get the news that way.
Yeah, that's one thing about small towns. If you don't know what's going on the other end of town or the other end of the county, in 5 minutes you will.
Yeah. So now, okay. So who would be able to do those things for you? To say if I don't have an oil change, but I want to check my antifreeze and those other fluids you mentioned, would you just go to the auto where they sell auto supplies?
We got all the people in here that do sell parts, Central Automotive, O'Reilly's, of course, Randall out here at Napa and Clinton. A lot of them they'll check it for you and tell you, hey, you need some antifreeze. Most of them will, because they'll get the opportunity to sell you some antifreeze, and it's great that way. And like my garage and all the other shops around here, most of them will come out and give you a quick check. I mean, most of us do. Like me and Steve, I know we do. Rob, he does.
Well, Rob's just down at his place now. It's just in the tire business, I think.
I tell you what, he does a lot of tires. He does a lot of tires. Of course, Steve down here, my Lord, he does a lot of tires. I don't do tires, but because Nally's tire.
And see, I didn't realize that because if you're as women, we usually rely on men to take care of a lot of those things. But I know my daughter, had needed a new tire, so she went to Taylor Tire, and they also did all that, you know, I think she might have needed a new battery, and they
Yeah.
put on a new battery. So, you know, you don't, you know, just because they're called Taylor Tire doesn't mean they
Oh, yeah.
just do tires.
Yeah, like I said, like
which
all-
I didn't realize. I thought, well, I
like say
thought,
like say tires and balancing and installing the tires on the rims is the only thing I don't do. And you know, I do a lot of things that other people like Steve doesn't do. And but you know, Steve does just about everything down there at Nally's Tire. And you know what? And that's awesome. Like I said, me and him great friends. I don't do lineups. He does. So like say I have to work on something that has to be lined up. I take down Steve. You know, he helps me. I help him. We all try to help each other.
yeah.
Like I said, it's small town.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
to.
So that's good. So those are things then that people should have. I guess that would be like winterizing your car.
Yep, I do a little winterization, a little 20-point inspection, and some. Like I
Oh,
said,
you can do that.
Yeah,
Just
oh, yeah.
do a whole
just
inspection.
look at everything if you
Uh-huh,
want to.
anybody-
Like I said, it's one of those things. It depends on what service you've had done. Now, you've in the last month, if you've had new brakes and things like that put on, you should be in pretty good shape, unless you're just really hard on brakes,
Mm-hmm.
like some people are. Some people are very hard on them, and I can't say nothing. Sometimes I am too. But
Well, especially if you drive in the city
Oh,
a lot.
yes.
You are braking a lot.
Yes,
And
yes.
so short distances.
I actually have customers that come all the way down from Louisville and Lexington, Frankfurt, and stuff to me, and it's constantly. I mean, you can see I'm like, if you had a bad month, they're like, wow, I'm like, "Phew," you know, you're putting a lot of wear on it. But it just depends on where you live. Around here, not so much. You know, it's a little more open here, little less traffic. Sometimes it seems like it's just as bad with the small roads.
yeah.
But just normal winterization, you know, antifreeze check, battery checks. Try to keep, when it's cold weather, try to keep a little extra fuel in them. You know, I understand some people try to, you know, they run them down to a quarter tank of gas or even less. And I'll get some gas when I go to work tomorrow. Well, if that bad weather sets in, and by chance, like this little splash of, you know, ice we had, that was a lot. It wasn't bad, but I'm gonna tell you, our 5-ton wrecker wouldn't even bite on it. We couldn't move.
Really?
Yeah, like I got to one little hill. I'm like, well, I see why everybody wrecked on this hill, because it was just solid sheet ice, and it just came out of nowhere.
Did we have many wrecks here in the county? I know that
There was at
one
least
bad one that someone
We-
put on Facebook.
there was about 3
their
or 4
truck flipped a couple times.
I think I was talking, of course, talking to everybody else that saw everything. You know, the Springfield Fire Department Rescue Squad. You know, talking to them at the police station when they called me out and stuff. I'm like, how many cars do we have at, you know, on the side of the road? Because some people will just come back and pull their car out themselves, and I understand that. But you know, I pulled 2 rollovers. Let's see, Rob got one. I know he got that one rollover. And
Is
then,
Rob doing towing
Yeah,
down
Rob,
at?
he does towing too. Like I say-
That would be. How does he? What's the official title on
Medleys.
that? Is it Medleys now?
Yes.
Uh,
And like I say, he got some
Medley Service
Medleys.
Station?
I think it's just he's got it listed as Medleys. I think I
Okay.
can't exactly. I just have his number. 'Cause when I sometimes I holler at him. But like I say, but between all that, what we towed, and the ones that were just off the road, I bet there was more than 30 cars off the road in this county.
Wow.
All, you know, widespread. And like I said, some people just come back, pull
Uh-huh.
out with the tractor, or another
Yeah.
truck, or something like that.
Well, that
you know,
ice was deceiving, and it was black
It was very
ice.
deceiving. Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Because like I
Yeah.
said, it deceived me. It got pretty hairy a couple times for us.
Yeah.
But
On days like that, people should stay in if they can.
if they can,
And if they can't, they should drive very, very slowly.
very slow, very cautiously, and pay attention to the, if
Uh-huh.
there has been wrecks, ask people. You know, our social media, everybody uses Facebook or
Yeah.
what,
the 811, I think you can call.
yeah, you can.
No, is that it? I'm not exactly sure.
Not exactly sure on that either. But
Yeah.
even just just look and see what the weather conditions are. You know, there's stuff all over social media every time about it, because people
Right.
post when they run off the road and things.
Right.
And if that's an area you're going and you see, hey, there's been a couple people off there, you might
Try
want
to avoid that.
avoid it or wait for the salt trucks to come through.
And so what should people, they should keep their tires, tires inflated.
Yes, keep them checked.
Well, is there anything else? Checking for the, I guess the tread, or what do you call it?
Oh yeah, always
The-
look at the wear on your tires. It never hurts to literally just run your hand across them, and sometimes be careful if it's got real bad, because wires can show. But look across there. If you got plenty of tread, all right. If the tire's not splitting or it's not wearing extremely uneven, if it is, then if usually when they're wearing uneven, something's wore out in the front differential or front end, excuse me, and look at the back too, because the way these cars are independent rear suspension, things wear out there too, and they'll get to wearing funny. Even if your car feels funny going down the road, always keep a check on it. That's all about safety.
And
Brakes, steering and stopping is the main things.
so you should have your brakes checked, you should have your tires checked, you should, and I know that you need to rotate the tires
To make them live longer, yes.
and so you won't have too much wear on one.
Exactly.
Or however that goes.
Yeah, that way you get all your money out of it. Because tires, are not cheap.
Right.
So even the cheap ones ain't cheap. So do everything you can. Even keeping them properly inflated will make them last longer. And it gets and this is what'll make people keep them inflated. It gives you better gas mileage. If they're low and you run them for a full week, a few pounds low here and there. Some people 10 pounds low when they come in the garage, or 20 pounds low, and you get better fuel mileage. Especially on these small cars these days with these little small motors. I mean, they're powerful. But anything you can do, like I said, squeeze all your money out of it.
Well, that's
why
good to know, because the little light on my car's been on regarding the tire.
The
tire for quite some time. So
on some of these cars, like yours, you have to check the spare as well, if they even come with a spare. Because some new cars, that's an option. They come with a little inflator, which is, I used to think everything come with a spare, but a lot of the new cars don't. But if you see a light on like that and you've checked all your tires, you could have a bad sensor in the tire that tells the computer how much pressure's in there. But if it's all that's working and you still have one and they're all reading, check your spare if you have one, because a lot of times the spare tires have them.
Oh.
Yep. And it'll drive you crazy till you find it.
Well, I'll have to come down.
Come
have
down
that
there.
checked.
I'll check it out for you.
So, and then, is there anything else that you can think of that we haven't covered with regard to?
No, it's just like I said, just standard things just to keep an eye on, and like I say, keep your oils changed, your fluids checked, test the antifreeze when cold weather's coming, and maybe even during cold weather, if you just didn't think it didn't test good, a second test doesn't hurt anything. I like 2 or 3 checks, keeping an eye on things. That's just me.
Yeah.
And battery checking. If you've even thought that battery just seemed like a little weak one time out of the blue, then it's been okay. Go have it checked.
Yeah.
Don't get stranded.
Because you don't want to get out somewhere and get stranded.
Yeah.
So now, if you do get stranded, are there certain things you should do? Well, I know first of all in your car you should keep an emergency kit.
Emergency kits are always a good thing. Like people see them, they're like, I've never used that. It's been laying in my car, 4 or 5 of my cars for 10 years. I've never used it. That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you might need it.
Yeah.
Things. I tell you what, those things to cut seat belts, the little hammers. They have the little blade on them. It's got the little hammer. It's pointed. If you are in an accident, you need to get out of your car. I mean, not a lot of times does a car catch on fire when you have an accident. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. You can't get out. Someone's trying, yourself, you're trying to get yourself out. The seatbelt won't come undone in these new cars sometimes, And panic. Panic is the worst thing. You have that in arm's reach. You can take the little edge. You can cut your seatbelt. The little hammer, if you can't get your door open, it's tempered glass. Turn your head, shut your eyes like this, hit that glass. It'll bust. If you have to, crawl out of it. If the vehicle is smoking or going to be on fire, it's better to get out than not get out.
Right.
And another thing I always try to do, because I know this day and age, even seeing people on the side of the road, people will be very cautious about that, because things are different now. There's bad people everywhere. But if you see someone wrecked on the side of the road, run off the road, even if the car's sitting there with the 4-ways on, if you can pull over safely and not get stuck yourself, especially if it's a snowy weather, always stop and check on people, because you never know. Someone could be down there knocked unconscious, and they may be okay, but I stress that too. You see somebody, stop. And
well, or if you can't stop, you can call
if you're
911 in your vehicle,
Yes.
and it will put you in touch, because I have done that with someone I've seen off the side of the road, and I couldn't stop with traffic, and and it's dark and late at
Yeah.
night, and I'm by myself, and I am a little concerned about stopping.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have called 911, and it will put you in touch with the nearest police station.
Yes, and
then you just give them the location and tell them that, and then they'll check on it.
yeah, definitely. Like I said, because I've seen a lot of that too over the years. And don't get me wrong, I mean, a lot of people see it, well, somebody's done called, they'll think that. And I know 911 probably gets flooded when there's a car off and it's a busy road and several people call, but it never hurts just in case.
Better be safe
Better
than
be
sorry.
safe than sorry.
Exactly, because I wouldn't.
I was out of state one time and there was this car down in a ravine. I found it. I mean, I was riding by. I saw it. I pulled over. I'm like, them four-ways look awful dim, you know, starting to just kind of blink. I went down to it. Sure enough, the guy was in the car. He was like, I can't get out. And I'm like, hold on. You know, I made the phone call.
Wow.
It's been several years ago. But where he was, I guess I'm a little different because I look down hillsides because I'm like, man, if a car went off there, that would be bad. That's kind of
That's because you're in that business.
That's kind of the reason
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and then, of course, you know, like if someone is off the road themselves, they need to, hopefully they have their cell phone with them. We're lucky to have those these
Yes.
days. And are in a place where they can call 911 for help. And then I guess, like here, the local police station would dispatch the wrecker service to come to their assistance if
Yes,
they were.
sheriffs go check on them too. You know, if they are injured, you know, they get them, you know, our ambulance service there, or rescue service, whatever we need.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's always wise. My children laugh at me because I always keep, you know, besides my little kit, I always keep a blanket and food and water. A little, because you just don't
You
know.
never know. You never know.
And you know, they found that humorous, but you don't know, and I think
You
it's a
don't.
good idea. You know.
Anything could happen at any time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
So, and do you have anything, anything else, Jonathan, that?
Like I say, everybody just keep a check on all your vehicles. You know, keep a check on all your fluids. Don't run them low on gas during when it's real cold out, because you never know what might happen. You know, you can come to my garage, which is Votal's Garage and Towing. But on the front of my building it says Votal Auto Repair. I'm still need to change over to Votal's Garage, make my new sign. But anyway, like I say, just to any places you even go to, some of the parts houses around, you know, like we were talking about, get your antifreeze checked, get just the simple things done. That little bit might save you a lot. And keep the oil changed regularly.
Yeah.
We see a lot of them come in. My goodness, they're sludged up so bad because of all the haven't changed the oil in 10,000, 12,000 miles, and I'm like, oh my God. But doing
Yeah.
little things like that, squeeze all the money you can out of your vehicle, your tires,
Yeah.
keep them aired up. Cold,
Yeah.
this like where it's warm today and it's going to go cooler, you know, this weekend. Especially these tire sensors, you know, they get a couple pounds low because of it going cold.
Right.
And you know, just keep an eye on it.
Okay. All right. Well, Jonathan, thank you very much for being here today. I think that's a lot of good information for everyone, and hopefully we won't have to call on you for any kind of wrecker service.
Well, if you do, like I said, I'm in the book. I'm easy to get a hold of.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
just
yeah.
give me a call or come down to my shop and see me and do whatever you need.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.